Hi, everyone. To start this week, I would like to share an excerpt from the book Sacred Pace, written by Terry Cooper. He says, each one of us, regardless of our employer or position, has to stand against any situation where we're not allowed any quality of life. That rebellion can take many positive forms, such as speaking up and trying to affect change, such as setting personal boundaries, opting for a better work environment, and so forth. The point is to take steps to preserve margin for ourselves on all fronts, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. The value of parenting is under attack by a fast-moving world. We're so overloaded trying to provide for the family that we've lost the time to actually be a family. The U.S. Surgeon General recently published a comprehensive advisory stating that something needs to change. The mental health of parents is declining, which has a negative domino effect on the children that we are raising. When we come back, we'll dive into how we can go from the breakneck speed of this culture to a more healthy pace that works for each one of us. You are listening to the Work Life Eubiosis podcast with your host, Charleston Edwards. If this is your first time here, welcome. My goal is simple: to eradicate burnout and to bring harmony, purpose, and balance to this world, starting with the family. My hope is that this show and the story shared will provide encouragement and ideas that will be valuable to you on your journey to work-life freedom. So let's dive into today's episode. As our family traveled down the interstate last week, I caught myself trying to keep pace with the traffic. As I looked at the odometer on this 6-lane interstate outside of Atlanta, I realized that I was creeping up on 85 miles per hour, which is a reckless speed for my normal pace of driving. And yes, I'm a slow driver. In fact, 85 miles per hour is reckless regardless of my driving skills. One minor mistake by me or any other driver could be fatal. Anyone who has traveled Interstate 85 through or around Atlanta knows how it feels to be caught up in their racetrack. It's either all or nothing. As I tried to maneuver over from the train of cars trying to push me out of the way, I realized how hard it was to get from the express lane to the right lane. Moving out of the way to the appropriate lane required me to fight for position. We do the same in life, in a culture that worships the rat race, and we are advancing our civilization at warp speeds. We are often caught in the wrong lane trying to keep up just to survive, only to notice how reckless we are being with our relationships, with our health, and with our values in the backseat. If we're lucky, we see the signs on the dashboard early, and we fight against the speed of life to find our right lane. Finding the right pace in life is not easy by any means. Inflation, cultural demands, instant media, and advanced technology are constantly pushing us down the road much faster than what we're designed for. This push is for us to fear more, to consume more, to spend more, and to produce more. To keep up with the cycle, we are often motivated to move even faster with society. The pace ends in burnout. Working parents are often more at a disadvantage when traveling this world's express lane. The American Psychological Association 2024 report on stress in America reminds us that the light on the dashboard is already flashing for families. The engines are burning out. Not only is stress a deadly issue for most of our society, but it's the working parent who is carrying a tractor-trailer load of stress at breakneck speeds. 41% of parents say that most days they are so stressed that they cannot function. And another 48% say that most of their days of stress is completely overwhelming compared to other adults, 20% and 26% respectively. Families are overwhelmed and under-resourced. To provide for our families, we are pulling triple the time to pay the bills, and we're left with no time to actually be a family. As much as we all have good intentions, we, as a society, are frequently failing. We are too busy, too distracted, and little has been done to point to the root cause, which is to get the heck out of the fast lane. Our next generation is being compromised by our chase for more. Here are a few excerpts from the U.S. Surgeon General's Advisory on the Mental Health and Well-Being of Parents, the 2024 report called Parents Under Pressure. We'll start right here. The average employment work hours for parents have increased over time, with parents now dedicating an average of 33.5 hours per week to employed work or engaging in work-related activities. This represents a 28% increase for mothers, which is a rise from 20.9 hours per week in 1985 to 26.7 hours per week in 2022. And a 4% increase for fathers, increasing from 39.8 hours per week in 1985 to 41.2 hours per week in 2022. Balancing work commitments and occupationally related stress with family responsibilities can lead to work-family conflict, guilt, and burnout among parents. And the article continues with this. While parents and caregivers are working more, they are also spending more time engaging in primary child care than before. This care includes physical care, educational-related activities, reading to and with children, playing and doing hobbies with children, amongst other activities. Time spent weekly on primary child care has increased by 40% among mothers from 8.4 hours in 1985 to 11.8 hours in 2022, and by 154% among fathers. That's a 154% increase from 2.6 hours in 1985 to 6.6 hours in 2022. In other words, we are burning both ends of the candle. This report continues to point to the declining health of kids, the pressure to keep up with advanced technology, the increasing financial burdens, the social media, overall mental health, and the growing dangers in society. This report is a fully comprehensive breakdown of the 85-mile-per-hour rat race. And then the U.S. Surgeon General summarizes his entire advisory by saying this: something has to change. It begins with fundamentally shifting how we value parenting, recognizing that the work of raising a child is crucial to the health and well-being of all society. This change must extend to policies, programs, and individual actions designed to make this vital work easier. Raising children is sacred work. It should matter to all of us. I applaud this statement, and specifically the words individual actions, for making change. This is our charge. Individual action is where we have to look in the mirror and in the eyes of each one of our family members and say, let's do something about our overwhelm. Let's eradicate the stressful, overly buying lifestyle because it's killing the parents and the future of our kids. Families must stand up and fight for family freedom. As the Surgeon General says, the caretakers need care too. Yes, Institutions, governments, and corporations can help ease the pain for parents with policy overhauls. But waiting on society is never the best strategy for taking over the brakes and the steering wheel. That's an individual action that we must be responsible for. To make a change in lifestyle, it takes more than just doing time management and decluttering the calendar. I, of all people, love time management tools, but it's a secondary solution. We must first redefine success. We must release our addiction to achievement. Success is different for everyone, and what it means for each of us depends on our values. Success is fully understanding what we are supposed to be doing, aka our purpose, and releasing all attachments to time, achievement, and pride. My wife and I have always valued freedom, autonomy, faith, family, health, and adventure. These are the core fundamentals of life that are collectively important to both of us. To live outside of these core values is not successful. To not honor our values is to reject who we were wired to be. It's these values that united us while we dated and led us to getting married and starting our family. It's our core values that are the engine of our family rhythms. Honoring God and honoring how He designed us is success. And then we leave the rest to Him. We'll be right back after this break. This episode is brought to you by Own Your 5 to 9, an organization committed to freeing families of the rat race and burnout. Every organization has a leader, mission, and a set of values that drives the organization. But this is commonly missed in the most important organization in the world, the family. An organization has one mission for how it will impact the world. Why not the family? An organization goes into strategic planning routinely to align its values, mission, and projects. Why not the family? Whose Home, a strategic planning guide for families, is a workbook and a tool needed in all households. Whose Home takes a strategic planning approach with 10 guided exercises to define your core family values, family mission, and tools to operationalize how your family does life together. If your family is facing a big decision, Whose Home is for you. If you're considering a career pivot, Whose Home is also for you. If you desire more intentionality and harmony in your home, Whose Home is for you. Create a healthy culture, not a hustle culture, at home. Visit ownyour5to9.com to claim your copy today. Getting back in the right lane is not easy, but it's doable. It takes patience, discipline, positioning, and maneuvering. But it also takes planning, strategic planning. As our family can attest, waiting on perfect conditions to make a change in pace is not going to be served on a silver platter. Work has to be done. We can't wait for someone to let us over to get into the slower lane. And we can't stay in the express lane or else we will get run over or burned out. Doing a family strategic plan each year has drastically changed our lives and our lifestyles. We now work less hours. We are able to take more homeschooling adventures. We are able to nurture the relationships in our family. We're able to focus more on our health. We have increased margin that allows for the unseen hazards that come across our path to not completely wreck us. I'm even more passionate about family strategic planning than I was 4 years ago when we first put this into practice. We're seeing the fruit of strategic planning every single year. And the fruit is not in the world's definition of success. The fruit is living intentionally, purposefully, and with clarity of the values that are unique for our family. And I'm so passionate about this process, I decided to model this for others to use. It's a 4-part strategic plan called Who's Home. The goal of this workbook is to protect the family culture from the speed traps of the rat race. Here's a quick overview of the 4 phases. Phase 1 is retreat. And yes, that means to get away. This requires an intentional, pre-planned pause in the schedule and from all the to-dos. This is a full day, or perhaps 2 full days, with your family to put intentionality on life. Phase 2, when you're on that retreat, is to take inventory of the season of life. All the aspirations and dreams, goals, interests, and the strengths of the entire family, and rediscover the core values for the family. Phase 3 is the renewal phase, and this phase is all about making a commitment to the family mission, creating a family mantra, creating new boundaries, what to say yes to, what to say no to, and then outlining the values the family is going to stand for. And the 4th and final phase is to rebalance. It's putting everything to action. This is all about putting the family mission statement into action by utilizing calendars, routine family meetings, creating budgets, and all the logistical tools to bring harmony and rhythm to the family life. Who's Home? A strategic planning workbook to protect your family culture from the rat race. Has templates and guided exercises for all the 4 phases that I just explained of building this plan. This workbook has a universal framework for getting on the same page as parents, which improves the communication channels as the leaders of the home, protecting the calendar from chaos, and setting a plan for your dreams, aspirations, and goals that you would like to achieve. And even when you've done the strategic planning just once, it does not mean it's an easy Sunday afternoon drive in the countryside. As humans, we drift. We drift out of our lanes daily because it's natural to want to go at the same speed as everyone else. And then, if you're doing the strategic plan, this does not mean you're going to be quitting your 9 to 5 or retiring early. Maybe your plan will find time for you to work an hour less a day, or work 1 less day a week, or finding time to take a real vacation, or finding the time to take more dates as a couple. Or you just may find that you're reclaiming your weekends. Or maybe your strategic plan will actually be drastic, like changing your career, a physical move, or starting your own business. The outcome of planning and living is different for everyone because everyone has their lane. We just have to rediscover that lane and fight hard to stay in it. So, stop living on cruise control. Get started on your strategic plan by visiting ownyour5to9.com today to get your copy. Meanwhile, take time to ask yourself and even your immediate family members this question: how fast are we going, and is it time to slow down? Thank you for listening to the Work-Life Eubiosis podcast, part of the Work-Life resources created by Own Your 5 to 9. I hope that you have found encouragement and a few ideas to strengthen your journey to purpose, freedom, and balance. Have you overcome burnout and found a new way of life? Millions around the globe are still at the risk of burnout and losing it all. And your story may be the one that sparks not only a dream, but action. Visit ownyour5to9.com for more information and submit your story. While you're there, join the Work-Life Eubiosis newsletter and receive additional resources weekly right to your inbox. If you enjoy this podcast, take time to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Share it with a friend or loved one. Remember, The most important organization in the world is the family. Let's do our part to strengthen it. Thank you for listening.